All right, Coach, congratulations. With history being made for Guam. I know this is the vision that you and your coaching staff have been working on for, the better part of a decade. But I got to ask you first, as a former player, how was the celebration and how was it for you knowing that, how hard victory is to get at that level when you actually said, we did what we set out to do?
I mean, I think our coaching staff had a little more sense of relief than excitement. I thought we'd be even more excited, jumping up and down, but I believe we just worked so hard to get to this level that we just had a sense of relief that it was all worth it, and we accomplished our goal, and we're not done because now we've qualified and stamped our ticket to the next round, a higher round, and we also, on top of that, earned the right to host more home games. And to be able to play on Guam at this level is going to be what really carries the program forward. So it was really calming. We were all very relieved that we accomplished our goal. And I mean, there were tears, there was laughter, there was a lot of emotions in our locker room. But at the same time, we knew that there was also one more game that Chinese Taipei needed to beat Thailand. And we felt confident that would happen. So
did you really let loose? Because I know I'll never know this, but what is it like to celebrate from a coach's perspective? Because some coaches would say we always want to set the tone, and I have to be the distinguished gentleman. Some coaches revert back to that 8-year-old kid who first started playing in their backyard and everything. What was it like for you, for Jin Han, for all the coaches there?
A lot of hugs. I think I've always been the same. We play hard. We leave it on the floor, and I think not in anger, but I think I hit a few things in the locker room just to make some noise and get everyone excited. Once I got back in the locker room, what was pretty exciting too is that after we beat Thailand, a lot of the media in Taipei wanted to know more about Guam, and so I was somewhat bombarded with questions, and I was happy to share more about our island and more about our program. And, that kind of took me away from the celebration a little bit, but it comes with the territory when it comes to this level of basketball. So it was really nice to kind of open up people's eyes to what's going on in Guam.
Now, I know as the head coach, you always say that, I'm going to have the last word, and, because I want the last thought before we take the court to be like what I'm saying. I want everybody to get on the same page. But at the same time, you always give all of your players, captain, starter, role players, the ability to speak out and everything. So, what were your first words to the team, and who really stepped up and who voiced their opinion about, what you guys just did?
I definitely try to encourage everyone taking leadership roles and being vocal as much as possible. There's times where I need to get everyone centered again and focused on what I'm saying. But often my assistant coaches with tons of experience, Jin Han and McKelly Wesley, really lean on them to add some words of inspiration. And I selected Joe Blas for our team captain again, just because Joe at this stage in his career has really earned the respect of his teammates. Whether he's scoring 2 points or 20 points, he's doing what we ask him to do and playing as hard as he can. And so whatever he says carries a lot of weight. Beyond that, Ty Wesley, of course, as probably one of the best to do it for Guam basketball, definitely has his moment where he wants to talk to the guys and own a huddle. And I kind of know my cue when I'm going to step back and let the players talk and kind of come together. They need that. And a few of the other vets as well. Sometimes we'll speak up.
And on the court, you guys can get really, really fiery. Coaches between each other, players to coaches, coaches to players. But, fans would say, oh my gosh, they're coming apart at the seams. Look at them, they're about to fight. But players that have played the game and that have been in those trenches know, they're like, no, they're communicating. You're like, this is how we do things.
I think that's actually something I learned in this window, is that we've come together even more, because a lot of our players, they're not on Guam playing in any leagues together year round. That's the nature of the business when players are seeking professional opportunities abroad, or they're in college or working abroad. And so when we get together, we have to build a bond. And what I saw in this window was our ability, like brothers, to argue, to debate, and then to get back to work and like we didn't miss a step. And we had a few of those moments where we were kind of debating on who's guarding who, about pick and roll coverage. There was even a time where we jumped into a zone to protect Ty Wesley's injury, where he was limping on a pulled calf muscle. And I was looking at everyone and say, I want to get out of the zone now. I want to pick up before they get going on offense and they get too comfortable. And a few of the guys were like, well, I think we can stay in the zone and still take away the 3-point shot. And we had a little debate. And at the end of the day, I said, I believe in you guys. You think we can defend the 3-point line in this zone? We're going to stick to it. I think we ran zone for almost 3/4 of the Thailand game, and it worked out fine.
So they almost vetoed your command decision and everything, and it worked out. And you have the faith in them to.
Well, I want to hear from them and what they feel out there. They're the one playing the game. And I mean, not that they would veto me, but they definitely expressed their thoughts, and I went with it. And I basically said, I hear what you're saying, but let me express, the concern is that they get comfortable with one style of defense, and they have a team that can shoot the ball, so we don't want to go down that road. But if you're telling me that you feel comfortable defending that, let's stay in the zone. And we did, and it paid dividends because we kept tying the game that way. We protect against foul trouble, and a guy who was pretty injured to start the game was able to really help our team by keeping him in the game, playing zone defense.
And that's kind of like the back and forth of the game of basketball, right? And in that last game that we played here at home, Ty Wesley and John Galloway had monster games. This time, especially against Thailand, your backcourt and the perimeter players like really went up. Joe Blas had a big game. Ernest Ross had a big game. Jericho Cruz had a big game.
Yeah.
What were you trying to get out of your guards to like really, have them, like roam the perimeter, like and really like find their spots?
Oh, it wasn't really something specific we're trying to change in our game plan. It was just in the course of the game, Thailand didn't have the strongest post defenders. So when we play inside out, which is what I like to do, whether it's by dribble penetration or into the post, I'd like the ball to get kind of inside the box before we kick out for three. And Thailand was double teaming and definitely converging on the ball. So it opened up a lot of opportunities for our guards to shoot. And they delivered. Mark Johnson also had a good game shooting. Everyone. And they played really well. And then when
Ben Bora had a good game too.
Yeah, and Ben really stepped up, both inside and out. This was a big challenge for him, big opportunity. And that's what I've said. Next man up. When it's your opportunity, don't give up that chance.
Okay, so now, of course, you and your coaching staff would say like, okay, you guys all huddle together because you guys have been playing together for 2 decades, and you even said last time I interviewed you, some of you guys have been playing together since middle school.
Yeah.
And now you're on the precipice, and we got here of taking us to the next level. Where do we go from here as far as training, plan, strategy, looking forward? We'll know who our pool is like pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll know who we're playing. So there's going to be a little strategy in regards to strengths and weaknesses of our opponents, but really they're all going to be amazing teams that we're going to face. Number one is getting everyone healthy, looking at their schedules of their life and seeing, trying to confirm their availability so that they can make this next competition in August. I think that's one of the key things that shouldn't be overlooked. It's not a small thing to be able to sacrifice and represent Guam and make the trip to wherever it is we're going to play. So we're in Saudi Arabia in early August. And once we confirm that, we'll get to focus more on the specifics of training and number one, conditioning. I still think that we can be in better shape. I feel like at this level, it's really the team that slows down in the fourth quarter that makes a difference. There's also been games where I feel like our intensity in the fourth quarter has helped us come back and make a game of the game against China or the game against Japan, that we made a good fourth quarter comeback. So I really want to stress that it's going to take 4 quarters, and it may not really happen for us until the last quarter. And you got to be in great shape to take advantage of those late game opportunities. At the same time, we really need to tighten up on the defensive end, because at this level, they make you pay for mistakes. Just look at Chinese Taipei. You've got a team that moved the ball so quickly, and not to say we didn't have a good defensive game plan, but if you're just always 6 seconds, or 6 inches too slow, they're getting an open look almost every time.
And next thing you know, they go on like on a 12-4 run.
Yeah, and you try to come back, and they sub in some more pros that do the same thing, and you just get these waves of talent coming at you. So I think we need to definitely tighten up our defense. It all starts on the defensive end for us. And I also think transition defense has been one of our issues at times. And that's a little bit of conditioning and also just learning how to play together and get back on defense better.
Okay, well, final question.
Yeah.
And I'd like to ask you this. I've never asked you this question before,
Sure.
but we're 5 months away from the Saudi Arabia trip. And as we always say in sports, 5 months is forever, and yet 5 months is going to go by like in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
What do you yourself, as a head coach, have to do to get better for that moment from between now and when we leave?
Between now and the FIBA Asia Cup, and probably the highest level of basketball I've ever coached, I'm going to, number one, look at our past games, study things that in hindsight we could have done better, and then just give some thought to some adjustments that I can make within our personnel. I assigned some of our coaches to also kind of bring back some information to our huddle of coaches in terms of just those small things that we can adjust or focus, put more emphasis on, so that we can just get that incrementally better every time we take the court. I think the biggest thing for me is it's not, and I say this to the team all the time, it's not really the result that we need to focus on. Don't just think about we got to win this or we got to win that. It's got to be about the preparation. And so as we prepare for these next few months, all we got to think about is how to get better and bring it when it comes to representing Guam, as always. And however that ends, the experience of going to the FIBA Asia Cup is going to make us better as a team. I think it's going to open up eyes to even the young guys on the team that don't play as much. And if we do it right, a whole generation of players who live on Guam are going to look at what we do and say, I'm going to work even harder because I want to get that opportunity as well someday. So that's the goal for the next 4 to 5 months. I also want to point out that by qualifying and making this level of basketball, we've also qualified for the World Cup qualifiers. And the World Cup qualifiers are now a new pool of teams that we'll be grouped with for home and away games starting November of this year. So even after the Asia Cup, there'll be a couple months to prepare for the next round of games. And that just means it's not only the games we play that will be a great opportunity, but now we have something to look forward to, something to train for, something that the next generation or those that haven't suited up for Guam yet can kind of aspire to. And that's exciting. That's exciting. That's exactly what we set out to do. I'll say this, you mentioned that this was something we've been working on as a plan. It really hasn't been. Kind of the same thing. This result of where we are today was never thought of. We really didn't know we'd get this far. We just knew we wanted to go as far as we possibly could and just get as good as we can at this game. And we always knew that we want to suit up and represent Guam and put Guam on the map. So by doing that, here we are. And so if we just keep doing that, I think who knows what's next?